This is the Propella Mini from US-based Propella Bikes. It's a stylish and lightweight e-bike with a tumbler-sized battery on the down tube and very noticeably smaller 20-inch tires. In this video, we'll go over everything from the LCD all the way down to the color of the chain and everything in between. I'll also tell you my personal thoughts on the Mini after riding it around for a few months, reveal my range and speed test results, and I'll even answer some common questions people have about this e-bike along the way. You're watching Electric Rideables, and this is everything you need to know about the Propella Mini. First off, we can't look at this e-bike and not immediately recognize the shorter wheelbase and ultra-tiny 20-inch tires. These two features work in tandem to create a nimble ride, great for cruising around town or even riding at your local skate park. But what it mostly worked for me was making quick turns to avoid inevitable potholes, and the next thing that stands out to me is the design. With specialized blue anodized trim on the hubs, battery, seat, and handlebar grips, this e-bike has a unique look that I think makes it stand out from the sea of cookie-cutter e-bikes on the roads these days. The next thing to note is that there is no suspension on the Propella Mini. The front fork is rigid aluminum alloy with 100mm hub spacing and a 9mm axle with quick-release skewer, while the rear of the frame has 126mm of hub spacing and a 12mm slotted axle. The rear hub motor is a Beifang 250-watt nominal, 400-watt peak-geared hub motor that delivers up to 35 Nm of torque. Now, that isn't a lot of torque, sure, but thanks in part to how light this e-bike is, the total weight is a mere 35 pounds after all. The power has been adequate for my riding needs, and the battery, besides just looking cool and lighting up when you press it, is a 36-volt 7-amp-hour lithium-ion Samsung battery, totaling 252 watt-hours of usable juice. We'll review just how much range this gets you in a moment, but one of my favorite things about this bike is just how easy its battery is to remove and take inside for charging. It's more or less the size of a tumbler or Nalgene bottle, so it can fit in a bag or backpack. This is great if you have a situation where you just can't get your bike to a plug and you need that battery to be removed and transported easily. Then the Mini would more or less be my top choice. The range on the Mini, however, and as is the case with a lot of these smaller 36-volt e-bikes, isn't much, with the brand stating between 15 and 35 miles. Having this said though, stick around to see the results of my personal real-world testing. The top speed is 18 miles per hour, which feels plenty fast enough, especially considering the smaller sized tires. On the flip side of that, the braking power feels phenomenal. The second you engage the brakes, the bike just stops. I think this is largely due to the quality components the brand went with, including Shimano mechanical disc brakes with larger 160mm rotors and Shimano tourney calipers. Propella also opted out of a throttle for this particular model, making the Mini a Class 1 e-bike. Great if you need full access to ride your Mini nearly anywhere regular bikes can ride. However, it's bad if you like to do e-bike throttle donuts. The pedal assist is controlled by a sealed 12-magnet low-profile Cadence sensor, which is located on the opposite side of the crankset. The sensor doesn't always match the pedal speed, and with it being a single gear, that can sometimes be noticed when pedaling. And speaking of pedal power, the Propella Mini is a single-speed freewheel bike with a 16-tooth freewheel in the rear and a large 50-tooth chainring up front. The pedals are aluminum Nico cage style, which I like, as they really stick to your feet more than plastic pedals do. The rims are that anodized blue with stainless steel spokes, and the wheels are 20 by 1.75-inch e-bike rated CST tires with Schrader valves. The tires are definitely on the small side, but that's the point. They handle great and the rubber really grips the road. And while we're talking about the tires, it should be noted that there are no fenders, or lights for that matter, keeping up with the brand's less is more minimalist aesthetics. Up in the cockpit, the steering is handled by extra-wide 660mm zoom handlebars that really give the Propella Mini a ride feel that I'd compare to that of a BMX. You can even lift up on the handlebars and do little bunny hops. The handlebar grips are grippy and feel high quality in your hands, not cheap or plasticky. The saddle is comfy enough for short rides and of course features that stellar blue trim. While the 2-inch backlit LCD is super simple to use and easy to read. Just press up or down to cycle through one of the 5 pedal assist levels, and the mode button cycles through speed, trip, and odometer. I appreciate how the brand didn't overcomplicate anything, and the simplicity of this LCD is a prime example. And frankly, having all this said, this is just a really good-looking, unique-looking electric bike. We'll get to the testing results as well as my personal thoughts on the Mini in a moment, but first, here's a little unboxing and assembly ASMR for ya. And within the box, you get one front tire, one seat, one set of metal cage pedals, one seat post, one 9mm skewer for the front tire, one 2-amp charger with US plug, a useful all-in-one multi-tool, and of course the user's guide. To assemble, insert the skewer in the front tire. Then, mount it to the front fork. Next, insert both pedals into the crank arms and tighten them with the provided multi-tool or one of your own. Next up, mount the handlebars and faceplate and tighten down the screws. Finally, insert the seat and seat post and voila, you're good to go. Next up is our PAS or pedal assist speed test. My testing revealed that in pedal assist 1, my Mini had a 6 mph top speed. In 2, we reached 8. In 3, 11 mph. 4 was right at 14. And of course, 5 got me right at 17 or 18 mph. All of this was all on flat terrain. As far as range is concerned, I got 14.72 miles on a full charge on my range test. This is slightly less than the stated minimum range, but I'm probably on the heavier side for this bike at 190 pounds, and the location I test in has a small to medium amount of hilly terrain. I also spent time in all 5 assist modes, with the majority of time spent in PAS 3. My Strava app also tracked over 642 feet of elevation gain, which contributes heavily to battery loss. My max speed was 20.5 miles per hour, downhill of course, and my average speed was 8.7 miles per hour. But here's the thing I liked the most. I was riding for an hour and 41 minutes and 50 seconds. That's a lot of riding time. Having all this said, I really am enjoying the Propella Mini. I enjoyed that I was able to ride it for over an hour and a half on one charge with over 600 feet of elevation gain. I also enjoy the uncluttered, minimalist design of the Mini, as well as how light and nimble it is. I like the wide handlebars, the BMX feel, the removable battery, the stealthiness, and a lot more. Basically, the Propella Mini is an urban assassin, built to get you in and out of tight spots with its nimble and compact design. It isn't perfect, mind you, but with the Propella Mini you aren't getting a run-of-the-mill experience, you're getting a unique rideable that stands out amidst the sea of boring cookie-cutter e-bikes.